Second. Welcome, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. As the more astute of you will notice, I've got sweet Karen Bashford in the remote virtual studio, the empowerment mentor, and we talk about topics that lead towards women, particularly finding their way through the world, becoming their own life leader. In fact, later on, I'll even refer to a weekly podcast dropping every Monday at midday, which Karen either variously interviews amazing people or talks about thoughts and aspects of that very topic that will help you become your own life leader. But today, we have an interesting topic in place. Today's topic is called the power of allowing. Now, as usual, I shall retain my position as slightly educated fool and ask Karen, what do you mean by the power of allowing?
Okay.
Oh, and welcome.
Thank you. The power of allowing is very much about the ability to just basically let go. We spend so much time trying, pushing, and how often does it actually succeed?
Not as often as the amount of effort that we put into trying and pushing would lead you to believe. I mean, I'm gonna go on a slight tangent here, but you'll see the link. I've been a trained salesman for a lot of my life. I've worked in very large companies, and part of that is defining a pipeline and contacting lots and lots of people and putting an inordinate amount of effort into shoving them into that hole so they pop, one or two of them pop out the other end. That's a lot of effort. Now, dare I say it, this is an allied to another topic that we were going to talk about and we will talk about, which is surrender.
Which is slightly different.
Yes. I was going to ask you that. How is this different from surrender?
Surrender means that you do not take control. Surrender means that you literally just totally, absolutely trust what is to happen.
Okay.
And that's, for a lot of people, a big challenge.
Oh, it's a very big challenge because we all like controlling our environments, don't we?
Yeah, but I will guarantee if you just surrender, your life changes totally. I'm a prime example. My clients are prime examples of just letting go. They find that they lose weight, their health is better, their business improves, financially they do a lot better, and life is so much calmer.
All right, well, we love that, but to go back to the original question and what we're investigating there is the power of allowing. So is that, when you say that, is that in specific cases where you say, hang on a moment, we're just going to allow it to happen?
Yes and no, because allowing means that you recognize that something has to happen. However, your brain goes, but I know what's going to happen. Does it? Can it predict?
Well, it thinks it can.
Yeah, precisely. It thinks it can.
But I think that's all about the trying to assume control, isn't it? That's all about, I know it's going to happen, so therefore I can control its path.
Yeah, but if you consider, if we are controlling, we're using the knowledge we already have.
Okay.
If you allow, you don't know everything that can possibly happen.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
That's sunk in, has it?
Yeah. So you're allowing for new information to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and I suppose what you're saying before is, otherwise, if you're just traveling forward without allowing, what will happen is you're only working with the subset of knowledge you've got.
Yeah.
That's all. Your toolkit is sparse by the amount of tools that could have come to you if you'd allowed them to.
Yeah. And with allowing, you're also letting the universe work with you, because you don't know what's going on in the background that could potentially make what you're trying to achieve be far more successful than you ever imagined.
Right. So if I turn it on its head, by not allowing, by controlling and constraining, you are potentially reducing the efficacy, reducing the benefit you could be reaping. Yes.
Yes. I'll give you an example.
Please, that would be good.
I interviewed Master Shah a few weeks ago, as you know, because you edited the audio for me and put the outs and ins for the video in place. That came about simply because I allowed myself to be open to anything that was going to serve me and my business. Annika, the lady I work with PR, heard about the fact he was looking for podcasts. So I put myself forward and was accepted. That led to an invite to go and actually meet him yesterday.
Right.
I then had a physical session with him with several other people, being in front of the calligraphy graphs or calligraphy drawings he has that is very much about healing. That experience in itself, and I chose to just allow myself to let my body choose what needed to heal. So I just simply asked for the whole body healing. So your body will decide what it wants, when it needs it, at that moment in time. So I could have gone for shoulder, I could have gone for lower back, I could have gone for all kinds of problems that I'm going through at the moment, simply because my body is changing and having gone through the healing processes I've been through. But instead, I chose to allow. In allowing, it's worked some miracles for me, I must admit, and I'm not about to share them because they're not necessarily to know. But the one thing it did bring to me was a description of how I actually heal, which is something that has been missing in my business, of being able to tell people what I do. Because I've never been able to pinpoint exactly what I do, because I have been too in my business.
Well, yes.
And even though
when you're right up against the coal face, it's sometimes very difficult to get some perspective. You can only get by standing back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I'd also ask clients, and they could not tell me what it was until I got the light bulb moment yesterday of, in my way of healing, I actually give you the tools to heal yourself, but take the lessons you need to learn before you actually heal yourself. Once you've done the healing, you can then utilize what you've learned to be able to improve your life. But also with the inner child, you can go back and ask questions that will allow you to then gain more insights and do more healing for yourself. That is something I had been missing. But in allowing...
Is that the difference between giving a man a fish and then teaching him how to fish?
Yes, because what Master Shah does is actually help you heal yourself. It's self-healing. But he utilizes it in a way that you just get the healing. You don't necessarily get the teachings that come with that healing.
Right. Right. Yeah, he's more direct, gets it done, whereas we'll get it done if you learn the lessons along the way.
Not even if you learn the
yourself.
lessons. The benefits of learning the lessons is it can improve your life going forward. Whereas with Master Shah, when you do the work with him, it's an automatic life will improve. But I always feel that, especially for me and with the women I work with, there are always lessons we have to learn from our experiences. And that's what I help them do, take those lessons, but also heal themselves.
Can I just draw attention to, forgive me for jumping in. I normally do this a bit later on, but there is a amazing podcast that Karen, is the center point of, but it's where she interviews people, but also it gives her own thoughts. I've put a QR code to it. It's called the Empowered Women Life Leaders Podcast. I suspect that you will want to go there, especially having heard today's conversation, because Master Shah, who is interviewed by Karen there, who is a remarkable discussion. I think that's fair to say. And what if I, without divulging too much, Karen met up with Master Shah and he helped her attain an epiphany. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which has helped her, as she's shown today, describe what she does in a way that makes a bit more sense. Because the thing is that you may do good, but if you can't vocalize or express what it is you're doing, it's very hard to tell anybody else about it. So this is going to help anyway. So I recommend doing that. The direction you're taking your healing, I hate to use the word services, but your healing
service. A service. Yeah,
right.
It's a service.
All right. Can I ask you how the power of allowing will help you help others?
In allowing, I'm actually giving permission to myself to help the client in the best way possible. I have no agenda other than to get them through the process of healing as quickly as possible. Right. Therefore, they get to choose what they need to heal themselves. So there's not me saying, well, I think we need to focus on this and this and this. It's like every session we have is a case of what's been going on. Okay, so now what do we need to do? Because you're in control of your own healing, not me. Right. So in allowing, it's allowing them to express what's most important to them, but also to give me energetically insights into what's going on in their body as much as anything. So I can actually say, I understand why you're saying this, but perhaps let's look at this first because it will impact that. All right. All right. So look, I'm going to do, this is an important part of every podcast we do together. I'm hoping that you guys out there are getting some element of why Karen is special and what she does impacts positively on a lot of women out there. And I if you feel that you want to at least start your wellness journey, then I recommend visiting KarenBashford.com and have a chat, because I get new insights every week when we do it. I'm very lucky. You can get personalized insights that will help you attain a better level of living by starting your wellness journey. And the other thing is, I'm going to bang on a little bit about the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. Now, I edit it every week, so I get to listen to it whether I like it or not. And they are consistently informing, and just I learn stuff from each one. And I particularly say the one with Master Shah is a good listen. That's a good listen. It's he rocks you a little bit every so often, and he seems like a really genuinely decent human being as well, which is rather lovely. But
I'm going to put you on the spot again. We've got one coming on Monday. What's that one? That's an interview, isn't it? Or is it?
Yes, it's me talking.
Do you know what the topic is?
Actually, it's going in more depth to surrendering and allowing.
Well, there you go. You see, it's almost like we designed these things. Yeah. So if you want to go into a little more depth and more introspective, look inwards about how allowing and surrendering can improve the way in which you deal with your life, then I cannot recommend more highly the podcast that's coming out midday on Monday. I was going to say, Karen, we should think about ending this current series and starting a new one, and we've got so many in them. But because it's been quite a few so far. I think we've got what?
I think we're on now 17th now.
Yes. Perhaps we should finish this current season at 20 and then start a new season then. But there are some actual amazing elements. I'm thinking, I'm going to announce it now. I'm going to create almost like a mini show reel with little elements from a bunch of different ones that we can put out there. But this, I really think it's been, for me, certainly, life changing, because I've learned quite a lot of different things. So I would say to everybody, yes, it's to help women, but even a silly old man like me can get something from it. I think they're pretty good on their own. Karen, would you like to summarize your position on allowing?
Okay. I'm going to allow the podcast to go as a video as well going forward.
Whoa!
Which you sort of knew about, but it's definitely going to be happening now. In future, I will be interviewing via video. So we'll have an audio and we'll have a video.
Okay. So the audio might be slightly different because it's going to be slightly heavier edited, whereas the video, by definition, is quite difficult to edit that too heavily.
It's going to be quite raw.
Yeah, it's going to be quite raw. So if you want the more smoothed out version up with the audio, remember the audio is really aimed at people who are doing other things at the same time, going for a walk, cycling, or whatever it is. But if you've got time, you can sit down and watch it. It will be a good old watch. So do watch out, and that's going to be primarily on YouTube, whereas the audio remains on Podbean. Okay, so I just want to thank you so much, Karen. It's already been a wonderful journey. Actually, Karen and I were friends before we started the whole podcast journey, but I think we're much closer now. And part of that is because every week, and most of you will notice this because I get people telling me they see the moment when the penny drops. I always go into a bit of because she said something that makes me think differently. Karen's been through an awful lot, not just before she led up to it, through her Egyptian journey and out the other side. And there's a lot there to get your teeth into. So if you haven't been listening to the podcast, I would recommend doing so. And watch out, because the video one's coming. We're going to put out a few posts promoting them soon as well. But until the next time I see you or hear you, thank you so much, Karen, as ever.
Thank you.
And to all of you out there, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars. But listening to Karen could be the way in which you start leading your own life. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.